Preview.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devan, that's Melo, and tonight, you know what we do on here, man. We always got somebody coming on this show, but tonight we have a very special guest for you. We're going to call him our YouTube father because he's the one that kind of raised us in this atmosphere here and taught us the ways of the YouTube. So I welcome in the one, the only, the famous Eric Boggs. What's up, Eric? How you doing, my man?
I don't know if I should act like the Godfather or like a Jedi Master, one of the two. I don't know.
Now you got to act like the Godfather. You know, we got the Mafia boys in the building.
Good to have my children with me tonight.
I'm glad you caught on to that, dude. I did. As I'm saying it, I was thinking like, oh, damn, where am I going with this? Gangster Godfather? Or am I going Jedi? I was everywhere with it, dude. But I like it, man. But how you guys doing tonight, man? Yeah. Eric, how you doing, man? How's your week been? How's life been treating you? What's going on?
Yeah, life's good. Life's pretty good. Today or this week, since you asked me how my week's going, I really need Saturday to get here. I need Saturday to get here, and then I need to get through next week because the season for me is all about the last two games of this regular season, man.
Yeah. It really is. Those are some big games. I got some interesting thoughts on those for later in the show. Melo, what about you, my man?
Man, I'm happy to be here. Happy Mr. Boggs is here. That was a pleasant surprise to see him. I like the hoodie. You got to show that off. That's something you should definitely be selling.
We are. We got on the merch store.
Yeah, that's pretty fire.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Eric said, I'm ready for Saturday to be here. I'm not rushing for the last 2 weeks because then it's the last 2 weeks and we're going to have, the natty run, but we're closer to the season being over. So I love waking up, doing this stuff and getting ready for a Saturday game. Nothing thrills me more.
Yeah. Amen. Well, I'll probably mention again, but I just want to let everybody know that's watching, man. I just got done watching the Hyopods Northwestern preview over there. So go check that out. It's a lot of insight into Northwestern, who the Buckeyes play this weekend. So a lot of good insight there, man. They do that every week before the game. So check them out, dude. They're really cool previews, man, because they bring, like, you know how we are fans of the Buckeyes? They bring fans like us from the other team in that know all the ins and outs of the team. So I find it really interesting to listen to them because you really can't go look at stats of a team and know what the team is or what their identity is. So you can learn that going over there, watching their previews. It's really awesome to see. But tonight, man, I want to start off with just a few recruiting tidbits for everybody. Couple positives, couple not so positives, but I want to get your guys' thoughts on the old Jared Curtis rumor, 2026 quarterback, number one quarterback in the class. He is leaning towards Ohio State now, which that will probably change 25 more times before he signs. But as of now, thoughts on Jared Curtis? Melo.
Not surprising. I mean, initially they were saying he was an Oregon lean. Some of his friends were flat out just honest about it. He's going to Oregon. He's not even going to Ohio State. But if you think about it, he was ready to commit to Ohio State before we fired Coach Dennis from the staff. We were actually in the lead for him. So, of course, he's going to look other places because he has to develop that new relationship with Chip Kelly, the new OC. But how could you not be a quarterback and see where Will Howard came from last year at K-State and what he's doing now from a production standpoint? It's insane. And if we would have beat Oregon, he would be top two right now in the Heisman voting list. So let's see where he's at after we win this Big Ten championship And I'm not surprised. Why he's the prototypical size. He has arm strength and he's mobile. Why wouldn't you want to play in Chip Kelly's system where you're surrounded with the best weaponry in the country?
Yeah. I mean, when you're looking at Will Howard, what Will Howard is putting up this year, I'm still just blown away that he is not talked about more. I'm sorry, but like to have an Ohio State record as a quarterback, the only quarterback ever at Ohio State to throw for 80% or more in 5 games. This is Ohio State. Look at all the quarterbacks that have been here, and he's phenomenal, man. I saw his red zone stats today, and it's ridiculous. So, Eric, you got any thoughts on Jared Curtis?
Yeah. First off, fire graphic you guys made for Will Howard, dude. I posted that when I saw you sent it to me. I think I did this morning. I woke up and I got that email as I went Facebook, Twitter, bam, let's go. Let's hang out there. Hopefully Jerry Emig saw that. As far as Jared Curtis is concerned, dude, 6'4", 225. You know, one of the my nephew who's 6'6", and got a full ride scholarship to the University of Indianapolis as a defensive end. Was a D1 talent who just unfortunately they didn't have a spot for him at Akron. He looked at Akron. Pitt brought him in at one time, and you know these small schools said to him, "We have to wait till after the portal so we know how many scholarships we have for freshmen." That's the one bad thing about the portal people don't think about, is there's less room for freshmen now at some of these smaller schools. But I digress. His coach said to him on his visit from the University of Indianapolis, he said, "Son, you got one thing I can't teach: size." You look at this quarterback, he's a little bit bigger than Will Howard is now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing Ryan Day and the staff will never be able to teach into a kid, is making him bigger. This kid, you know, as far as his height, this kid is already that size, and he's only a junior. I want him. And I think he's coming. He already decommitted from Georgia. You know, or you mentioned Oregon. Usually, kids from the South don't go West Coast. They'll come a little bit north.
Yeah,
but you usually don't see them go west. So I think Ohio State's in the driver's seat here. I would put our chances of landing them at about 80%.
Yeah, we were the leader for him. It was a huge surprise when he committed to Georgia. Like Melo brought up earlier, we fired the, quarterback coach, and that's what kind of changed things. But an interesting note for him, the fact that he'd be coming to Chip Kelly's offense will be amazing, because he grew up a running back. Like, this dude was a running back for like most of his football career. So can you imagine 6'4", 220? He's gonna get bigger than that as a quarterback. And Chip Kelly's offense, unstoppable. But it'd be crazy. A few other little things. These are a couple flip watches, man, that kind of just got on my radar today. Don't know how serious they are yet. I have my concerns for one over the other. But Travis Alford, man, was recently interviewed. He said some very interesting things that really concerned me. He said that at Miami and FSU, they show the he'll be able to use the athleticism of the linebacker position way better. He said that they show, I can't remember the exact words, they show the athleticism of their linebackers way better, right? That's what he said. So on that remark, I'm kind of waiting to see if he shows up for the game, right? That's what most of this is coming down to. Are these recruits going to show up November 30th to the game? But something to keep an eye on. Another one surprising, London Merritt and Old Colorado, dude. There's some heat growing there. Something to keep an eye on. Less concerned there, but this Travis Alford thing is new. Like, that comment just came out. I know people have been concerned, but the FSU season, not so good. So weren't too worried there. Miami's always been a thing. His dad wants him to stay in Florida, but interesting comment for him to say with what our defense is doing this year, for him to come out and say that. Look at Miami's defense. Look at FSU's. Like, who cares if they're showing their athleticism? Look at their defense. So just confusing to me. Your guys' thoughts there. Eric, you got any thoughts on that?
Well, he's from Florida, so you're always on Florida flip watch. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
when you get a kid committed from the state of Florida, it's a battle to the day he signs. It's just the way it is. It's the way it's always been in recruiting. It's the way it always will be in recruiting. And so we always have the thing on the OHIO podcast when we get a commit from Florida. It's he committed to Ohio State currently. Like that's what you have to continue to recruit him. So it doesn't surprise me at all, Dev. And if he were to flip, I wouldn't be shocked one bit. And again, Florida kid, they're just flaky down there, Mello. I don't know. You're closer down there. Dev lives down there. What's up with the flakiness and the kids down there, man?
That's a great question.
Bunch of TikTokers, man. They're flaky.
I didn't grow up in Florida, so I have no idea. Maybe it's just the atmosphere and the weather. They don't want to leave. They get nervous.
Bingo.
Playing somewhere cold. Personally, I think he's just talking, riling up the fan base. I don't think he's going to flip. London Merritt, I know people that know him personally. I'm not concerned with London at all. But TJ, I don't think he's going to flip, especially because the linebackers are playing better as the season is going on. Now, and if you told me this like back in September, I'd be like, yeah, I'm nervous because the linebackers weren't playing that good. But they're playing well right now. So we'll see what happens. I think he wants to be playing with Riley Pettijohn. So that's where I stand. And I know he loves James Laurinaitis.
Yeah. One final recruiting thing. We got a crystal ball today for somebody in the 2026 class, a tight end, Corbin Fordham. Chad Simmons put in a crystal ball for him. He is not that high, like 300 some overall nationally, but I believe he's Ohio State's #1 tight end prospect in the 2026 class. At least that's what's all over the message boards. Everybody's talking about how much he is loved at Ohio State. Just wanted to mention that real fast. I don't know if any of you guys have any information on him. I didn't. I just wanted to let everybody know about the crystal ball real fast. Mello, you got anything on him or Eric? No?
I do not.
Go. All right. We'll move on to Ryan Day and a couple of the players got interviewed today. I only have one thing that I want to bring up from that. I listened to all of them kind of fast, so didn't really diagnose them all that well. But the one thing that I heard that I'm excited about, Will Kazmarek was on the practice field today doing individual drills. Ryan Day said that he is way ahead of schedule, healing up from his injury. And they're hoping to get him back out on the practice field in a bigger capacity next week. So what's your guys' thoughts on hearing that from Ryan Day? And also, did you hear anything else from those interviews that you want to bring up, maybe talk about? Mello?
I think for some reason, maybe it's because the Northwestern game. These interviews weren't like spectacular. It's mostly about the field and playing in the baseball stadium. What I did find, though, that was interesting. All the players love the noon games. They wake up, play it, get out the way, and then they could chill for the rest of the day. So I guess that's all that matters, even though we as fans don't like it. I personally don't like it because I don't like the commentators. Honestly, I think they lack juice this season. That's just me. I think their play calling has been subpar by their standards, not even by the industry standards, but by their standards has been subpar. And in terms of Will Kazmarek, of course, we want the whole team 100% healthy, but I'm liking where this tight end room is heading right now and how they've been playing. So I want him to come in and just fit in where he gets in, but let's keep rotating, if you know what I mean. Because I saw something in Jelani last week when he made that catch. It looked like the Jelani from Langston Hughes High School that was catching all those balls from Aaron Nolan and breaking records. And I mean, he's massive. He's blocking his tail off now as well. So I want to see where, as long as Jelani keeps getting his snaps, I really don't care.
Yeah. Amen. Eric, what's your thoughts, man?
So is it all right if I go back to a comment Ryan Day made on Tuesday?
100%.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So when he was asked about all the noon games, I found his attempt at humor to be kind of insightful. When he said, I got to deal with a lot of I have to deal with a lot of fan backlash for other things other than the time of the games. Did y'all catch that? Did anybody like?
I heard him say it. Didn't he go on and say that that's not on the top of his list to worry about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think he's alluding to? The fact that he can't beat the team up north?
I think everything.
All
His
the other
coaching
things.
staff hires,
Like,
his friends on the roster, mainly O-line position. I think it's everything. I think he hears everything.
do you think that when he said that he was like talking about us?
That's what I felt. I felt it though.
Dude,
Did
I
you
felt
take that personally, Melo?
Yes. Yes, I did actually. I really did. I was like, man, I'm just gonna ignore it. Like, but yeah, I did.
Hey, Eric, I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw a short. I was running through YouTube Shorts the other day, and I saw Chris's short come up. It was just smashing on Ryan Day, dude, saying, "Get him out of here. He sucks. Never gonna win anything." It's just Chris for like 30 seconds going in, and I'm like, "Yep, that's what Ryan heard, dude. He freaking heard Chris. High
You
pod."
think he's swiping through his phone in between calls with recruits, and the wild man comes up. He's terrible. I'll never trust him ever again. With his glasses on, and he's like, "Who is this guy?"
Hey, you know what's interesting, man, is you always wonder, how much YouTube and social media, how much they affect coaches and players, right? And there's a couple things that line up. Something here recently is we went in on Jerry, right? The SID there at Ohio State. Like every podcast I watched the week prior was going in on him. We went in on him. You guys did. Menace, Scoop. Literally the following week, they're pumping out graphics this week on semifinalists for awards and all kind of stuff. So like those things come up, and it makes you wonder, like, dang man, it's just the combined effort of everybody, like actually, making a change. Speaking of that,
Absolutely. And that's
shout
why I
out
always
everybody in the
say,
chat.
Yeah,
and that's why I always tell the chat. Remember, I was like, start that. Let's get LaCharles Bentley over here for offensive line coach. Like they see all this stuff. They have people that just monitor YouTube. Ask Mr. Boggs, he could tell you. So, so yes, they see and they hear this, and it's our job to keep the pressure on. And I love what the beat is doing. It feels like as we started pressuring as a whole, the beat started asking more tough and in-depth questions, more real questions. Stephen Means and Doug Leb Maurice and all these other guys, So like that's what needs to happen. So we have to hold this coaching staff and Coach Day accountable so he stays on his toes and he knows like we're not idiots. Everybody sees what's going on.
And some would say Kirk Herbstreit would call us the 5% of crazy buttholes, right? Like he would call us a derogatory term and then cry the next week on game day because that's what he does. But here's the thing, like we are fans of this team because of the expectations placed on them generations ago of success.
Right.
And when you have people like Urban Meyer come back to the state of Ohio with the idea that he's going to make the great state of Ohio proud of the product that is placed out on the field, it's because when he was a kid, that's what Woody Hayes was doing. That's what Earl Bruce was doing, right? When he was younger and then on his staff. And then, Jim Tressel when I was in college and things. And so we're not bashing these guys. We're just making sure that the standard stays where it's at. That's all. Like you don't want to, when your standard drops, you're in trouble. Ask Nebraska.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So as Ohio State fans, and I will to the day he's no longer the head coach at Ohio State, continue to remind Ryan Day that these were his own words on the day he was hired on that press conference when he said the standard of Ohio State is to beat the team up north first and win every game after that second. Those were his own words. So, I'm sorry that we're holding you to the standard that you yourself said you were going to coach to, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this line, right? And I've noticed it here recently as how you got, you have us fans that are very passionate, Eric, everything you just said. And then you got the people that like give us a little bit of backlash for going and saying these things. And you notice some podcasts, they'll take that route and they'll talk about these crazy fans talking about fire Dave, fire Fry, fire this, fire that. And it's just like, well, not everybody that says those things are those crazy, crazy fans. Like when I say I want Fry gone, before I want Fry gone, I want him to recruit better, right? It's like I would rather, instead of him just getting rid of him, I would rather him just recruit better. You know what I'm saying? I would rather just the change happen and they do better. You know what I'm saying? So there's a line there. And sometimes I've been noticing here lately, some people are going in, I think, a little bit too hard on people that just diagnose and talk about the things they want to see get better, right? And people just brush that off as, oh, you guys are being crazy, too hip, or whatever it is. But it's just like, no, man, like we want him to do good.
There's a difference between being passionate about your team and then going over the line and making a threat. Like no one here's making a personal threat.
Right.
Okay. We're not, we're not crazy like that. But and nor should anybody ever get on social media and threaten a player or a coach. There's no business for that, man. Like that's stupid. But to be upset about the play, why not? I mean, I grew up watching my dad yell at John Cooper for an entire decade. Like that's how I grew up, man. So it's like the only difference now is instead of yelling at the television, we actually have a platform to yell on. Where back in years ago, you had to wait till the radio station did call-in shows, and then you could get on the radio. And then if you yelled too much, they'd hang up on you, and then you weren't allowed. Then you're on the do not call list. Now we can just make a podcast and yell about it, right?
Yeah.
Nothing's changed. It's just the platform's changed. That's all.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. I take it back in my life, right? Where I used to have people when I was younger and even in high school and stuff, like my parents just get on me like so hard. And they would always tell me they're getting on me because they know my potential, right?
Right.
Then I hated it. Now I loved it, right? Because now I believe I'm living out, God's purpose for my life, and my parents sent me in that direction. But if it wasn't for that tough love, that I like to call it, like I would have never have realized that or seen that. And that's kind of what it is. Like for me, when I get on Sonny Styles, it's because I know the dude's potential is out of this world. You know what I'm saying? Like I know he can just play out of his absolute mind. I think he's doing way better, by the way. But
I agree.
All righty. Well, we'll move on to Northwestern, man. We'll get a play in the old Wrigley Field. Eric, did I show you the picture? Did you watch our show? I'm going to pull this up again. Here's where we're about to play. I know you've already seen it, but Melo, this is one of his favorite pictures. He loves to see it. So this is where we're playing this Saturday, everybody. So, Angie, thank you, mi amor. You going to super chat too or what? Anyway, that's out of line. Thanks for watching, Angie. So this is where we're playing. Eric, let me get your thoughts on this field, man. The thoughts on the old brick wall in the end zone, the sod laid over the infield. I don't know if you watched the game last year, but you watch some of these games played on this field. It looks like there's whole chunks of sod just flying everywhere as the game's going on. Gets a little wild, man. So what are your thoughts about our players on this field, dude?
So that was Wrigley Field last year. They have changed the position of the field a little bit.
I thought that was this year.
No, that was last year against Iowa. Look at it closer. You'll see.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
But I compared it to the one I thought was this year. So what's different?
They have repositioned it a little bit, which is, and here's why. Because in the past, the teams had to share sidelines.
That's weird.
They were on the same sideline. And then 2 years ago, they had to go the same direction the whole game. So when they punted, after the punt, they'd flip the field, so they were always going the same direction. Like it's messed up. Now they won't have to do that because they have repositioned the field. However, case in point, you are right. The corners of the end zone are incredibly tight Saturday. So when you look at the new picture, if you go to our website, Devan, theohiopodcast.com, and you go to football and you scroll down a little bit, there should be a link to a story I wrote, and in that is the picture with the field now, as they had it ready as a week ago for this game. The corners of the end zones are incredibly tight to the walls. my prayer is twofold. Number one, that we don't throw any corner fades with JJ. Just don't do it. When we get in the red zone, run the football. We need to run the football. The other thing is, as a former baseball player, I can tell you that when you go from dirt to grass in baseball, there you go. There it is.
I'm getting
So
That
good at
looks a
this,
lot
dude.
better.
I'm
But
getting good at this, guys.
yeah,
You know,
that
see how
is.
fast I got that
So
picture up here?
look at the corner there on the right hand side. Look at
yeah,
how close the corners are to the stands.
yeah, I don't like that.
That's
Dang,
that's
man.
tight. And then the one there on the left, you have more room on the right, but the left side of the end zone there on the west is pretty tight to that wall as well, the corner. Um, so, but case in point, what I'm getting at is this: the infield last year when they played at Iowa was awful. Where home plate was, it was like a crevasse. It was it was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, bad. Um, Here's where I'm at with this. I actually had a conversation with Alex about this via text. If they get there Friday night and this field is so bad that they're worried about playing on it, Bjork needs to go to the Big Ten and say we're not playing this game.
Yeah.
And if you listen to our preview with the Northwestern fans from the Westlot Pirates, they'll tell you we will give you the win. We will forfeit this game. They don't even want to play it. They would, because they don't want anybody to get hurt, and they've played in the stadium multiple times, and it's not safe.
That's crazy,
It
bro.
is. So I know a lot of Ohio State fans are super excited about it. Hey, we get to go watch the Buckeyes play inside of Wrigley Field. Okay, I get the novelty of it, but it is not a football field. It is a baseball diamond. They are designed for completely different sports, and I'm not as worried too much about the infield thing. I think they probably figured that out since last year, hopefully. But the corners of the end zone scare me to death. When we're inside the red zone, Ryan Day, just run the football, man. Run the ball. Do not put JJ or Emeka in danger of getting hurt, man. It is not worth it.
I'm at the point I don't even want to see the stars play.
Well, Chris and I were talking about that in the preview. If we get out to a couple touchdown lead, pull them. Just pull them. Let the second string take this. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to tough one out against Nebraska. Now, Northwestern. I think that this game's going to be a little bit tight because I think both coaches aren't going to want to go guns a-blazing. I mean, I'll be shocked if Ryan Day's like 5 wide, let's roll. I'll be shocked.
Ain't no way. There's not even enough room to even think about that.
Yeah. Hey, little housekeeping real fast. I'm a little late on this, but shout out everybody in the chat, all the regulars, everybody joining us tonight. Really, really appreciate you. Just want to address a few things real fast. Guys, we are like 66 subscribers away from 1,000. That's a big deal for us. So, dude, get on your social media platforms, share this video, share this link right now that we're live, all that stuff. Help us to get to that level. We're almost at our viewing hours as well to be able to accept super chats. So me and Melo had a little talk earlier. I want to let everybody know what we're going to do with our super chats. Okay. So 50% of our super chats will be used to cover our costs for the show and be reinvested back into the show for giveaways and the shirts and all that stuff. And you guys know my background. I struggled with addiction. Jesus absolutely radically saved my life. So 25% of the super chats will be going to the ministry that saved my life, called Teen Challenge. It's a beautiful ministry. It's the largest faith-based organization in the entire world. There's over 1,200 centers in the world, over 200 United States. And the other 25%, Melo, let them know your heart there, where that's going to go.
So as you know, I am a veteran. So one of my goals is to help end veteran homelessness. I feel as if no vet should be left behind and left sleeping under bridges. We didn't leave them behind during the war, so we shouldn't leave them behind when they come home. And my money is going to go towards that initiative and helping to fight homeless vets and finding them places to live.
Amen. And on our website, we'll have an updated count of exactly how much has been donated into where, just to kind of keep an open book for everybody. Because like we said before, this is a fan channel ran by fans. We want y'all to get involved. We want you to be a part of the show. You can come on whenever you want. Send us an email, thebuckeyeboys@gmail.com with 3 Z's. So like I said, just trying something different. We do this for fun. We love it. It's a blast. All righty. Back to business. Northwestern, man. I'm going to read a couple stats. You guys know how I do this, man. I go on the NCAA website, I go down, and I look at where Northwestern is ranked compared to where we're ranked. So let's start off with the passing side of the ball. So passing offense. Ohio State is 29th in the nation. Northwestern is 120th. Passes allowed, passing defense. Ohio State's number 4 in the nation. Northwestern is number 100. Red zone defense. Check this one out. We're number 1. They're number 15 for red zone defense. Red zone offense. We're number 1. They're 115. Rushing defense. Check this one out. We're number 6 rushing defense. They're the number 16 rushing defense. Rushing offense. We're 38. They're 115. Third down conversions offensively. We're 38th. They're 127th. Third down defense, check this one out. We're 15th. They're 53rd. Total defense, we're number 1. They're number 53. Total offense, we're number 15. And they are 131. So, you kind of see where that lies there statistically. I've watched a couple of the Northwestern games. I watched the Northwestern Indiana game. I don't know if y'all watched it or not, but it was not a blowout. When you look at that score, you might think that it might have been, I think it was like 41, 24, 31 like that. But it was a lot closer, all right, watching that game than you might anticipate. So obviously the stat that we can start off talking about is their rushing defense, right? They're 15th in the nation. So what are you guys' thoughts on their defensive side of the ball? I mean, that's where we'll start versus our offense. Either one of you, go ahead, take off. Let us know your thoughts.
Go ahead, Eric.
So, Devin, I don't know if you noticed this when you were looking at the stats. Do you know what other Big Ten team is the closest statistically, offensively, and defensively to the Northwestern Wildcats?
Purdue?
Team up north?
Michigan.
Team up north?
I didn't realize that.
Offensively and defensively, these two teams are almost identical. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and which is another reason why Northwestern is excited. They want to get through this game because they go to Ann Arbor in a week. They think they can win that game. They believe they can beat them.
That'd be awesome.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
I like it.
So that's why they're like, hey, let's sign a contract. We'll give you a 30-point win. And that way we can stay healthy and we get a week of rest and we can go to Ann Arbor and get that dub for you guys. And we're like, yeah, please do.
Yeah.
This is going to be kind of a preview of what we are going to see, I think, against that team up north. And so I told everybody in the preview to keep your eye out on what we do offensively. I think we might try a few things out to see how it looks against Northwestern, with the idea of if it works real well here, it's probably going to work real well in a couple weeks. Yeah. So just keep your eye out on that a little bit. But I think it's going to be a lot more of the same, especially given the field. I think we're going to try to run the football. And if we can run the football against a team who's done a really good job at stopping the run, then that gives me a load of confidence going into these last two games.
Amen.
The one thing that stuck out for me is their red zone defense. And then it went in my mind.
They're tight.
Yeah, in my mind, it was like, is it because they're playing on this Cubs field? Even though I know they're not playing all their home games there. But yeah, so like Bog said, I think they are going to test out a lot of things. They're not going to open up the playbook with that field being like that. So I think they'll be more open to what they're going to do against the team up north when we play them. And I also think they're going to put the pedal to the metal against the team up north. They're going to try to smoke them as bad as possible. Mm-hmm. So, but this is a nice little preview and a nice little warm up before that game. So it should be interesting.
Let me clarify. I mean running concepts. I should have stated that more clearly. I think
Right.
that you're going to see some running concepts. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Travion and Quinshawn have been on the field together multiple times in different looking sets lately. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
so
Yep.
I think he's slowly building in a little bit of that to get ready. And so I would not be shocked to see at least a couple series where you see both those guys and they're in motion a little bit to try to really get the defense their eyes undisciplined on where Travion's going, where's Quinshawn going. Oh, there it is. It's a QB keep. You know what I mean? Saying it's like
Yeah.
a lot of eye candy could be
It-
happening here. And
it-
this is good because Northwestern is incredibly disciplined defensively.
exactly, Eric. And that's what I thought we were gonna do from day one. Was a lot of like, especially against Oregon. Really, it was against Oregon. I thought they're gonna do a lot of two back sets to confuse the defense and pick your poison. Who do you want to stop? Who has the ball now? Kind of like a magic show, like you were saying, like Houdini. Guess right or get crushed. So I'm glad he's using it. I hope he continues to use it. You don't have to use it every play, but I mean, once a series, if you have a long drive, like it will help. Something might pop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's be honest, we have done a lot more 2 or 12-man personnel, and that's a
Yeah.
Kelly thing because he likes to use the tight ends in the running game a lot. But if you have both backs in there, they both can catch the football. You could send them out wide, and all of a sudden you're going 4 wide, and
And
it's
the
like,
great thing is they both can block.
yes. Like by the way, Travion Henderson has absolutely annihilated some linebackers this year on the blitz. Like he
Oh,
has
dude.
completely blown them up.
Yeah. He has. A lot of people were saying the dude shouldn't have came back this year. You know what I'm saying? Wondering like, hey man, don't, you got a good draft stock now, go. But dude, he has elevated himself in the draft immensely. But
Immensely.
Absolutely.
yeah, Eric, I like what you said. When I saw the stats, a couple things came to my mind. Number one, the picture of the stadium where we're playing, the end zone, it's kind of tight, right? So therefore, I think that might kind of hinder some of our passing plays. I mean, that would be the smart thing to do. And then number two, when I see that they have the 15th ranked rushing defense in the nation, I see Ryan Day looking at that and wanting to test, and Chip Kelly, and wanting to test our running offense, right? So that's why I think this might be a little bit of a lower scoring game than most might anticipate. And yeah, like you said, I foresee us just trying to play some smash mouth football and testing our offensive line and our rushing capabilities. Like you said, they're doing a lot of different things. I expect to see some even different sets than we've seen before as far as the rushing games go. So, uh, not sure how exciting we're going to be able to see. I would love to see more of, Trayvon getting in there at receiver, but I'm just not sure how much we're going to see that. But I had another thought. Oh, on a side note, I got to get your guys' opinion on this because it's just been going through my head a lot, right? So would it be fair for me to say that we have always wanted a little bit more out of the offense this year? Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that we've wanted a little more out of the passing game in terms of Will Howard throwing it downfield a little more and just passing more. And I have noticed when I go back and watch the film, I see a lot of open receivers down the field a little bit further a lot of the times. But he doesn't throw those. He just checks it down, right? And then you go back to the press conference. I've already brought this up once in another video, but go back to the press conference. Chip Kelly stated, right, how important completions were, right, to the offense and how much it wore down defenses. And then Will Howard brought up the same thing. Will Howard said, hey, man, I know there's open receivers downfield that I miss sometimes, but I hit our check down. We got 6 yards. We caused the defensive tackles to have to run, make the tackle, all this stuff. So I think that's like kind of the identity of this offense this year. And I think it's on purpose. I think it's more of a dink and dunk type of offense because that was just drilled in Will Howard's head. And it's the style that Chip Kelly wants to do. So what's your guys' thoughts on that? Do you think that's in line with what we're seeing? Or do you think it's because Will Howard can't throw the deep ball very good?
I think it's definitely in line with what we're seeing. Supposedly he can't throw the deep ball because of his footwork, supposedly. Now, I think as a fan base, you got to think about it. We went from Dwayne Haskins to Justin Fields to CJ Stroud. And what did all those players have in common? Explosive pass plays for touchdowns. We have explosive pass plays, but they're not leading to touchdowns a lot. And a lot of it sometimes is just the balls that his footwork isn't lining up with the route, which is throwing off his timing. So if those plays were going for touchdowns, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, to be honest with you. So I think it's a combination of both. Take what you can get, which I think is actually helping Will Howard in his draft stock, because look at his completion percentage, look how effective he is and how efficient he is. And then look at the red zone offense. And I have to shout out Jug because he put out his red zone stats coming from K-State last season during the offseason about how the K-State was the number one red zone offense in the country by a lot compared to the second place team, and 90% of it was from Will Howard. So, I mean, the red zone thing isn't shocking, but yes, I think we're playing a game to get the ball into your weapons and let them go ahead and create explosive plays off their catching and running after.
Amen.
So, to give you a movie analogy for this, Melo, you brought up the quarterbacks. So I'm glad you did, previous quarterbacks, and we are so used to being Clubber Lane, like we're knocking everybody out in like the first and second round, like offensively. That's who we were, right? However, Clubber Lane didn't have much defense as a boxer. Okay.
Yeah.
He was all or nothing, right? And you go back to the previous years, all the way back to Justin Fields, minus the first team we had Justin Fields with. Our defenses, we had to score a lot of points. Our defenses weren't stopping anybody. So it was the identity of those teams. This team is more like Rocky. Like we can take a shot and we can dish it out. And by the end of the rounds, we've got you worn out. And I think that's a little bit of what you're hearing from Will Howard is why I'm dinking and dunking a little bit, why I'm taking the check guy. I'm making you run. Hey, I took the check guy to the left. This time we're going to run it to the right, and then I'm going to do a mesh route, and we're going to hit the guy going over the middle back to the left, and by the time the defense comes off the field on a long drive, they are spent. And so, yeah, Clubber Lang might have looked prettier offensively, but this team I think is going to be at least built, in my opinion, for the long haul. And I think we have a better chance of winning it all simply because we have everything involved in this now. And don't be surprised if he hits some of those long balls when it counts. He's been short on a lot, okay? They've been there, and we are still trying. Like we're still going deep at least a couple times a game, and you have to, right? You have to keep teams honest, right?
Yeah.
And so they're going to still do that from time to time. I think eventually, hopefully next week against Indiana, we hit some of those for big plays because Indiana is Indiana is kind of like Ohio State light. Like they're scoring a lot and they're pretty good defensively. The difference being is we just have so much more depth, right?
Yeah.
So by the fourth quarter, I think it's going to be a 4-quarter game. By the fourth quarter, hopefully we have them worn out. And what we've been doing this season will also equate to a win next week as well against the Hoosiers. But yeah, I feel like this team's more like built like Rocky. I like it. Make us
I want to
mad,
address
man.
this
Get
comment
mad.
real quick. Mean Green, I can remember the magical season where Dwayne Haskins threw for 50 TDs. Now, do you remember when our quarterbacks were always touching that 50 threshold of touchdowns? How insane was that? Like I took that for granted. I know I did. I just expected it. And that's why I was like expecting it from Kyle McCord. I was expecting it not so much from Will Howard, but I was definitely expecting a jump from Will Howard. I mean, from Will Howard and Kyle McCord, but like it seemed like Dwayne, Fields, and CJ were getting close to 50 every season.
Two things. Number one, again, we didn't have a very good defense. Actually, three things. Number two, we were running plays much quicker then than we are now. And number three, the clock stopped.
Yeah.
Clock ain't stopping anymore. So those are three things against us doing those things. So
Yeah. If you think about it, I think it's a very good overall strategy to win it all, like you said, Eric. But think about this too. What other game is this a beautiful strategy for? D game.
November 30th.
Yeah, man. They ain't got no depth on defense. Can you what is the strength of that team? Their defensive tackles,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So what happens when these jokers get worn all the way down? So in the back of your mind, you kind of wonder, right, if in a sense this strategy, is a little bit because of that game. I doubt it's much. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to win the whole thing, but still, I love that strategy for that game as well because we've seen it before. You saw what Texas did. Their defensive line just wore them the heck out, dude, and absolutely smashed them. So good strategy for that game as well.
It's what Indiana did to him. Again, it's what Indiana did to him. Indiana's Ohio State light right now.
Yeah. I am going to hit on that real fast, Eric. We don't see eye to eye on the Indiana thing. I don't think it goes into the fourth quarter. I do think the first quarter is a little bit close. I've been going back and watching a lot of Indiana games. They're very good, very sound. Their quarterback can be, very precise with his throws. Get a little pressure on him, though. Gets a little bit squirrely, like most quarterbacks would. But I just think we're just too talented, man. I do. I think up front we're too good on both sides of the ball. But we'll see how that plays out. We'll get to that.
The game is going to be played at Ohio State at noon, which we know is going to be lit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the best time to play those games, right? On Fox, you get all those people during that time watching it. They make the most money. All that.
That's what Joe Klatt says.
I know. Yeah, he knows. I mean, we should all listen to him. He's just awesome at what he does. But anyway, okay, where were we? All right. Okay, so we talked about our offense. We think we're gonna be more of a running the ball for offense. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Defensively, I just absolutely kind of expect a game Purdue-ish. Right now, what I mean by that is I could see the 3 down linemen again. I could see them trying that again just to get a little bit better at it and make all these offensive coordinators have to plan for that in the future. Scum and Indiana and anybody playing the playoffs. But I just kind of expect complete domination on the defensive side of the ball. That's just where I'm at with it. You guys got any thoughts? Melo.
It's the number one defense. Let's act like it.
Yeah.
I'm expecting them to smother them. I'll give my score prediction at the end of the show as usual, and it'll show what my thoughts are defensively. I think the same with defense. Let's get the second and third stringers in there as soon as possible. Let's run the score up. Let's end the game in the first quarter. Like literally done with the game in the first quarter. Get all the starters out.
Northwestern will cough the ball up a lot. I remember watching that Friday night game early in the season against Duke, and no one wanted to keep the ball in their hands, like nobody. Northwestern will turn the football over a lot. My prediction and the reason why I have the score that I do is I think Ohio State scores 2 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
They
got a sophomore quarterback, who he's a good quarterback, but he's a sophomore. I heard them talking about that in the preview that you did with America. They talked about their quarterback and how, a little bit mistake prone when it gets a little pressure. And I expect some pressure because like I learned once again in the Ohio Pod preview, their offensive line, would they lose their starter, their starting center, their starting left guard, and they're kind of still trying to figure out answers there. Yeah.
We're complaining about our offensive line after losing Jimmy Simmons. Go look at what happened to them.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, and Tyleek's back. I don't know if we'll see him this game, to be honest with you, but he's like, yeah, I know. I hope not either, but he's back in full mode. So I expect the snap count to be kind of like we saw in Purdue, a lot of the second string in during this game. So now what I want to do real fast, I want to hear 2 things from everybody. Well, really 4 things. Let's go 2 things on the defensive side of the ball specifically that you want to see happen in this game, and 2 things on the offensive side of the ball that you want to see happen specifically in this game. I'll start with we'll all start offensively first. So offensively, man, it's kind of like we talked about. I just want to see that smash mouth football. I want to see that we're able to, run it on command when we want, how we want to do it. I'm not really looking to see Will Howard pull one much here. I want to see like maybe some, screen to some wide receivers, get some wide receivers involved in the run game, and just open up the playbook there and kind of see what we can do with our creativeness in the run game. And then also, let's see. I want the offensive line to keep up with what they've been doing penalty wise, right? No penalties, man. Keep playing a clean game like they're doing, and just keep meshing together and getting that vibe together, just becoming a Joe Moore Award winner. Melo.
Offensively, I just want to see Chip try some creative things with the run game just to put it on film. Plus, it's just fun to see something different, because I know we're going to smash this team regardless. So I want to see him do something fun with that. I want to see the offensive line continue the trajectory that they're on and continue to develop that chemistry. And lastly, I know we said two, but lastly, I want this game to be over in the first quarter and pull the starters.
And then, yeah, chime in there in the chat. What do you guys want to see offensive side of the ball specifically?
I would like to see us finish drives. This Northwestern is good inside the red zone defensively. One of the better red zone teams we're going to face. And like I said, very similar to what we're going to see at the end of November in the shoe against our rivalry. So our rival team. So let's finish drives. And obviously, the other thing, I want to see everybody stay healthy.
Yeah.
Stay healthy offensively.
Yeah, I'm in. Well, you went last on offense, Eric. You ready to go first on defense?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I want to see that. I just want to see a nihilistic defense. Like I want them to be sharks. When you smell blood in the water, I want to see that. Edric Houston, everybody was upset that he got a penalty. I'm not. I like the nastiness.
I do too.
I like the fight. John Cooper doesn't get a lot of a credit, but this was one of the greatest John Cooper quotes of all time. If a pup's going to be a dog, he'll bite when he's a pup. I love that quote. You know what? Edric Houston showed me he's a dog. Like, he might be a pup, but he's going to be the man defensively. I loved it. So, I want to see the defense get after this quarterback, live in the backfield, man, dominate the line of scrimmage, and then just play nasty football. Nasty football. It's a dirty, sloppy field. This is a defense. Like, you should be just salivating at the mouth as a defensive. Like, they're going to be slipping all over the place on offense and just annihilate them. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Dennis is right. Halftime, we don't even have a locker room. We have to go to the bullpen.
I thought they were trolling. That's real.
That is
I
real.
thought that was a troll job. That's real.
That's real. We're going to the bullpen. We need to make sure we get runners on base. Let's move them over.
Hold on. How many players are they bringing their normal allotment of travel players?
75.
It doesn't seem like it could accommodate all of them. What, are they going to sit in the stands?
Some spilling out into the outfield.
Bro.
This is crazy.
Oh my God. Don't get hurt during the halftime speech in the bullpen. Please stay away from the walls, all that.
Could you imagine if let's say things don't go well in the first half and they go out to the bullpen and Ryan Day's just ripping someone a new one at halftime, and everybody's got their cell phones out, right?
Yeah.
It's like all over the internet.
Fox is zooming in. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But no, I want to see Edric Houston playing. I don't really want to see Tyleek play. And exactly what you said. I want a smash mouth smothering defense. That's all I'm looking for. And everybody stay healthy.
To answer Steely's question, Major League Baseball stadium locker rooms are designed for about 30 guys, not 75 or more.
Well, where's Northwestern get to go? In the other bullpen?
Yeah.
Probably.
Dude,
Probably,
that's just
It's gonna be
probably
crazy.
down, probably down on the third base side benches.
that's
The
ridiculous.
home in the dugout.
They bring a bunch of those easy up tents out, set it in the middle of the field, have their little halftime speech there.
How
That's
great?
crazy.
How great would it be at halftime? They just separated and went to the end zones. Everybody got a juice box and a
Oranges.
orange peels and juice boxes at halftime. How great would that be?
I was
Oh
just
my
thinking that
God.
right when you were talking. I was waiting for my moment, but you beat me to it.
Oh, please, Lord, nobody get hurt during this game. This all just sounds like an absolute mess. What? Just
It does,
what?
man.
What? First, we got to play in the shoe where it's like an ice skating rink. Okay, right? Oh, let me get my defensive thing. Then we're going to hit on that for a second. But defensively, I want to see us just absolutely smash this quarterback. I just want to see the pressure on the QB dialed up. And, most sacks we've had this season. I want to see it this game. And then I'm really feeling a game where Sonny Styles just takes the freaking game over when he's in the game. Like, I think this is it, man. He's been getting better. You can see it. His confidence, it's 100% was a confidence thing at the beginning of the season. You see his confidence growing a little bit. Like when you see him not going, when you see him like looking at the player that's about to catch the ball, but he's not, initiating, that's confidence, man. He's sitting there processing in his mind, do I go here or are they going to go there or not? I think he's getting that feel for the position a little more. And I'm just waiting for that game, man. And I hope that this is it for Sonny Styles. But did you guys hear the news about, you guys already knew this, but it was confirmed. Okay. So I'll just tell you that there's on the Bucknut message board, I learned today the reason why the turf is so slippery is we all knew this answer already, but it was actually confirmed, is because we went with a mid-grade turf. We did not spend a lot of money on this turf. And here's why. Because, the football program wanted the same turf on the game field, just the same on the practice fields as it is on the game field. So they didn't want to put the most expensive one because then they would have had to lay it on 3 fields. So instead, they went with like the mid-grade turf and put it on all 3 of them because it was cheaper. So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about that. And did you guys know that? I mean, we kind of knew it, but is that something that's been known for a while? Or
I didn't know that, but I mean, it's fitting for what Ohio State does in terms of money and how they spend it. So, I mean, they're very frugal in terms of that and where they're spending their money in terms of the field and the stadium. Look at the stadium, look in the bathroom. I mean, a lot of stuff is outdated. But the good news is we have the right AD here and the right president. So all of this stuff is going to be fixed and changed. Seriously. It's just going to take time because it's a massive project that has been neglected for so long. Shout out Gene Smith.
Eric, I can't believe on your show, literally on Eric's show, I heard him say that Gene Smith was the best to ever come through Ohio State.
Nah, there's no way.
What you said?
I'm gonna flick you in the face.
Man, Gene Smith makes black people look bad, man. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm glad you made it to that high rank, but bro, come on, you just neglected your program for all these years. This is crazy.
I think
and I understand we got 36 varsity sports, but come on, man. You couldn't every year just upgrade one thing every single year, just one thing, and that help minimize the budget a little bit.
Yeah. So Gene Smith has always had a burr up his butt about football. The football team. You know why, right?
No, I haven't. Why? Because he played at Notre Dame.
He played football. He played football at Notre Dame. But you all seen the movie Rudy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the movie, which is this is based on true story, Rudy Rudiger, walk on, right? He gets in the game during a kickoff, right? He goes down and fields the kickoff, and then the coach tells him, "Hey, there's one play left. Stay out there." You know who the defensive end was for Notre Dame, who Rudy Rudiger replaced for that last play of the game against Georgia Tech, right? That was Gene Smith. That's a true story.
Really?
Yes.
Dang, dude.
Gene Smith got benched for Rudy Rudiger. So he's always had a chip on his shoulder about football, the football team, man. Here we go with the Rudy story. So,
Oh shoot.
so here's the thing, dude. I understood why they did it because they're like, we're going to do all three fields. And the price to do all three fields when we go with the mid grade is still going to be more expensive than if we just replaced one field, right? That was the thinking. But here we are 2 years later, and the field is worse when it comes to safety than it was 2 years ago when we had the old 8-year-old field turf that was pink. Like, that was better than what we have now. And this is totally Gene Smith's fault. He should take ownership of it. He should pay for it. Gene Smith ain't hurting. He should make a donation to get here's $5 million to get the old turf removed, put in the new. Listen, I'll even let you put Gene Smith like in script underneath Safe Flight Auto if that makes you feel better. I could care less. Let's just make sure we don't hurt these guys. Like, 'cause it's getting to be where it's a player safety. And I'll tell you right now, if they don't replace it, Melo, I would not be shocked if a recruit says, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
This is my career, dude.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never
And I'm
thought
sure
about
some have said that. I guarantee you there's been at least 1 or 2 recruits that haven't picked us just off of that.
that. Oh, dude, it's so obvious at this point. There's no hiding it, right? Well, I mean, we got Will Howard believing it's his cleats. No, bro, it's not your cleats. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. The whole thing's just wild to me. But we got Ross in there now. Hopefully, he does something about it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
No, he's
Ross-
doing something. I know for
Yeah.
a fact he's doing something.
Yeah.
He's got big plans. Like Ohio State is going to be the creme de la creme.
I'll tell you this much too. I have on good authority Ross Bjork has made a promise that we will never play 6 consecutive noon games again ever as him as athletic director.
Oh,
That'll
heck
never happen again.
Yeah.
And he's much more willing to throw the weight of Ohio State's brand and name around in the conference than Gene Smith ever was. Gene
Yep.
Smith was always a yes sir type of person until the very end when he kind of was like with the whole the whole COVID thing. It kind of came out of shell a little bit against Karen Warren, as we like to call him. But Ross Bjork is a completely different dude. Like he's all about let's go win the natty and everything, man. I love his mentality. He's much more of I think a competitive guy than Gene Smith is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's like Phil Knight without the billions behind him in his own
But
personal bank account.
He knows how to get those billions.
Oh
though.
yeah,
That's the thing.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, when did we get you guys seen the picture going around of the stadium that actually has the red lights in it, our shoe? It actually has those lights. When did we get those lights? Have those been in there? Is that something Ross did when he came? Does anybody know?
I don't know that that's real.
Really?
I think that's just I think that's just a picture someone made that says we can do this.
Okay.
And it wouldn't take much. Like those new LED lights, they can have those things installed in no time.
Dude, I'll tell you this. One-way service will do it. Right here. I got you. I'll turn in an estimate, turn in a bid, give you a 10% discount, Ohio State. I will come install sweet LED lights at the stadium. So there we go. All right. We're going to wrap it up here. But before we do that, we've got to get score predictions. But before that, I want to hear, let's get to very specific, crazy predictions for the game. The who's and the what's. Who's having the interception for the pick six? Who's having the fumble recovery? Who's going to have 5 touchdowns? So on and so forth. Offense or defense. You can go 2 offense, 2 defense, whatever. Melo, you got to start this one off. What are your 2 crazy predictions?
Ooh, I wasn't quite prepared.
That's why. That's on purpose.
I have to throw Caleb Downs in one of my predictions, so I'm going Caleb Downs with a pick 6.
Dang, bro! Seriously? That's crazy.
Hold up, you said 2 on defense or just 2 in general?
2 in general.
Okay, on offense, I think Q's gonna have a big day. I'm gonna say Q for 10 carries, $150, and 2 tutties. Also, after this segment, I want to bring I gotta ask both of you something before I forget. I wrote it down, so I won't forget.
Like on live or when we shut her down?
No, on live.
Okay, Eric.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say Caleb Downs is gonna get a pick six.
What? Bro, were you really?
Yeah, I
I'm so
was.
happy I went
So,
first.
how about
Too. Yeah.
this? How about Caleb Downs a scoop and score?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, we'll go Caleb Downs a scoop and score, and I'm gonna go with uh, give me Jack Sawyer 2 sacks. Did I get another one of yours?
That's gonna sound like I'm lying at this point, but I swear over everything. Like I was gonna say Caleb Downs pick 6, and I was gonna say Jack Sawyer with 3 sacks, but I'm not gonna do that now. So
Go
I'm
with
gonna go.
3. Up one me. Go one up on me,
Well,
man.
I got something different now. I'm gonna go Caleb Downs with 2 interceptions in the game. Okay, no pick sixes or anything, but 2 interceptions. So I can't say 1. And then bro, let's go with yeah, Trey, 3 rushing touchdowns in the game. Okay, so there we go. All right, score predictions. Chat, once you hear ours, light up the comment section with your scores. I see some people already putting those in there. If we take them, you got to pick a new one, man. You know, we get first go here. This
Hold
is
on,
the
before score
area.
prediction, I have to ask you guys
Oh
this.
yeah, my bad.
It's good. So Zach Smith today put out that he knows on good authority that Quinshawn wants to return next season and is leaning to returning. I want to know what both of your thoughts are on if Q should return and how you feel about him leaning that way. And also from the chat, I want to see what you guys how you feel about it as well.
That's I heard that, right? And as far as do I think it's going to happen, I'm 50-50 with it at this point in time. After last year with what we can do with Neal at Ohio State, getting some of these, you know, we got JT to come back, we got Jackson, we got some players to come back that could have went in the draft and got drafted pretty high. Mecca came back, whole 9 yards. So as far as coming back or going, I don't think it's such an outlandish thing as some people are saying it is. I really don't at all. And obviously, I would love to see it. I think it's needed. I think if he doesn't come back, I think we go in the portal for an experienced running back because we're stuck with not that James Peoples isn't good enough, but we don't have like a veteran leader in that room. So it wouldn't surprise me, right? If they press for that, if they press for him pretty hard to come back. And like I said, I can see it happening. I would love it to happen.
So
That's
to
just me
that
though.
point, Dev, that's the other thing I forgot to put up there. Zach also said they're still in the portal, trying to pull somebody from the portal as well.
Yeah. No.
Now with all that context, Eric, what are your thoughts? What do you think James Peoples is thinking if this does happen?
Ooh. If I think James Peoples is going to stay regardless. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he understands that you need to trust the process. And I think we all forget Coach Locke is the best running back in that room. Remember, he likes to remind everybody of that. So I think the guy's really. I think Quinshawn really likes it here. You know,
Yeah.
I know his mom does. Have you guys? Do you follow her on Twitter?
Yep.
She's
Yeah.
a great follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would not be. You know what? I thought there was no way. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
for it, dude. And here's the thing. I think there's something you can use to your advantage to see that happen. I think Trevion Henderson can say, "Look, I was probably going to get a 3rd or 4th round draft pick last year, and now I'm looking at high 2nd, early 1st,
Yeah.
late 1st." And so maybe that tells Q, yeah, I think I can do a little bit more work here and maybe improve my stock a little bit. The thing that scares me a little bit is that there's only so much tread on those tires if you're a running back. And boy,
Yeah.
he carried the load a ton down there this first 2 years in Ole Miss. So,
Yeah.
but
There is that. I didn't think about
money
that.
talks, man. Money talks.
Oh yeah. Yes, it does. All right. Here we go. Score predictions. Melo, who went first last week? Me or you?
I don't remember, but I could go first. I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah, you got it.
I'm going 32-6. I don't
Golly,
think
Melo.
what
I'm just messing with you. I'm just
I was like, what, dude? I think that we're not going to air it out like that. It's a dangerous field to play on. I think they're going to do some. I think they'll open up in the run game, but they're going to kind of keep it pretty conservative. I think they get the starters out early. So I'm not looking for us to score as much. I am looking for our defense to still dominate because that travels anywhere. So that's why I get the 6. I don't think they're going to miss 2 field goals like Purdue or Purdue, as people in the chat like to call them, did. So that's where the 6 comes from.
Gotcha. By the way, the spread is 28.5. So Melo's got them not hitting the spread. You said what? 30, 32?
32 to 6.
Okay. Eric?
I predicted on the preview show 42 to 3. And again, it's because I think we scored 2 defensive touchdowns.
Gotcha. So you have them covering the spread. I haven't missing the spread. I got 38 to 10. 38 to 10. All right, chat. Tell us your score predictions in the chat, and we will go from there. Let that ride out for a minute here. But does anybody have any closing thoughts before we shut her down?
Just stay healthy this weekend. Everybody enjoy the game. Enjoy it safely with friends and family. Just realize we only have 2 more games after this week. So savor every snap and every play, and just follow and love on the team with your heart. Like I hope they love on us and play hard and glorify Jesus's name through their play, and hopefully they can save lives, as I'm sure they have already. So keep God first. And thanks, Eric, for coming on. It's been awesome working with you again. I always love it. I always enjoy it. You always are insightful. You have the great metaphors. You probably used to be a rapper. You were Eminem before Eminem in the previous lifetime. So
I was the white notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, shout out to the
yes, sir.
To the Podfather. The Podfather. That's your new nickname now.
Most definitely.
I'm not calling you Eric anymore. I'm calling you Podfather.
I like it.
Brings me back to my county jail days, the old Podfather, huh?
I was more likely to deliver a Bible to you in jail there, Dev. Amen. My last thoughts on obviously want everybody to stay healthy. I hate Chicago. I hate the Cubs. So I'm really looking forward to Ohio State going in there and run ruling them this weekend. So yeah, I just, this game is going to be so weird to me. It just feels weird. So I make sure you cover this team in prayers, man. I'm going to be not lying. I'm scared to death.
Yeah.
Scared to death that there's something bad could happen. And I'm not talking about the score. I'm talking about an injury. So
yeah.
That's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at with this thing. Yeah, there it is, fellas. There it is. Yeah, Melo, both of you guys brought up something, man. As fans, I think I think we need to enjoy, this season, sit back. That's the ongoing thing we keep saying. But another aspect of this, I think, is just the coolest thing ever to see is like these young men on the team and how much they profess their faith, right, for Jesus, and how much they do it together, right, and how much they do it with other teams and they spread the word. Like, you understand how old the guys are, kids, right, sitting here, like, having the platform that they have to be able to spread their faith and talk about their faith. Let that be inspiration for you, wherever you're at. If you can hear me, if you're listening, if you believe in Jesus, dude, share your testimony. That's how we win this battle. That's how we do it, right? We help another brother out. We love our neighbor and help them out, man. It's a beautiful thing to see coming from such a young generation, right? In this world today. Like, look how many even of our own fan base that was like, just praying things got to go. We're a soft team. We're a soft team. They don't give a dang about that, right? They stay strong. They stay steadfast in their faith. And I think it's just an example, right, for even the older generations, right? And the next generation coming up. It is so powerful to see. Like, it gives me chills talking about it right now, to see what they are choosing to do with their platform. So as fans of Ohio State, right, soak that stuff up, right, and keep that going, man. Not only the players need to be doing that, us as a fan base can do the same thing, right? If you're believers, spread the word, man. Jump on that wagon, go around, tell people about Jesus, tell your testimony, or just go help somebody. Just go love somebody, man. You never know what type of day somebody having. So it's a beautiful thing to watch. And I think we need to soak that in a little bit more as a fan base, because I can't remember a time when it's been so prevalent on a team. I mean, it might have been before, but for me, I've just noticed it way more this year, and it's a beautiful thing. So
same here.
Yeah. On that note, Eric, appreciate the heck out of you, man. We'll definitely get you back on here. Don't forget about our November 29th 6-hour stream, trying something new. We are booked up, man. We got a lot of big hitters coming on, man. So it's going to be fun. We need the chat to be engaged for 6 hours. If you got family obligations, cancel them, man. We got a 6-hour stream on YouTube, dude. It's us Buckeye Boys first, man. That's what that is. That day.
Podfather will be there.
Yeah.
9
Podfather's
o'clock.
showing up at 9, and he's bringing the rest of the pod with him, man. See, everybody follows him wherever he goes. So that's kind of the deal. All right.
The family's coming with me.
Hey, on that night, fam, appreciate you, chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment below. We'll comment back. We love you. We appreciate you. Go Buckeyes. OH.
Ayo.
Ayo.